Welcome everyone to From Backlog to Release, how dev and product teams simplify accessibility with AI. So happy to be here with you today. I'm Josh Basil, a proud member of the accessiBe team. I'm a person with a disability who made it my life's work to advance both physical and digital accessibility within all of our worlds. And today's session is all about solving one of the biggest headaches developers face: how to move accessibility from constant backlog item to a regular part of your release cycle. Whether you're new to accessibility or looking to scale your program, we hope today gives you kind of the tools, the inspiration, and clarity to take the next step. Next slide. All right, so here's what's ahead. We'll begin with a quick introduction of all speakers, followed by an overview of accessibility and the challenges developers often face. We'll then introduce you to accessFlow, our developer-first platform that puts accessibility directly into your hands. We'll guide you through a live demo and preview a powerful new feature called MCP. And finally, we're going to answer your questions live at the end. So make sure to put any of your questions in the chat, or there's a question and answer function at the bottom of Zoom. So let's dive into it. All right, so a little bit about me. So after my freshman year of college, my life was flipped upside down on a family vacation at the beach. A wave picked me up and slammed me headfirst against the ocean floor, shattering my neck. That day, I heard a loud crack, and I ended up becoming paralyzed below my shoulders. I'm now a power wheelchair user. I went back to school shortly after, then finished undergrad, and then later graduated magna cum laude from law school. And for the past 12 years, I've been a practicing trial attorney. During the pandemic, while I was stuck at home, I wanted to do more around internet accessibility. And that's when I got connected with accessiBe. For the last 4.5 years, I've served as the community relations manager, helping to ensure that people with disabilities had a seat at the table to help build and advance our technologies going forward. And it's been an incredible ride. I'm now honored to hand it over to my colleagues, Gil and Jason. Gil, let's start with you.
Thank you, Josh. Hi, everyone. I'm Gil, the product manager for accessFlow. I've been in accessiBe for almost 3 years. I'm also a former developer. I was a developer for around 10 years before becoming a product manager. So it's great, and it really helps me that I can understand development workflows and what developers like and do not like to do. It helps us build a better tool for developers for fixing accessibility issues.
Thank you, Gil. I'm gonna throw it over to Jason.
Hey guys, my name is Jason. I'm a QA engineer here at accessiBe. I worked here for about 4 years, like 4.5 years now. Before I worked here, I actually was a teacher for children with special needs. I did this for about 6 years, teaching grades 3 through 8. And this kind of working in a company that deals with accessibility kind of helps me kind of like, it felt like a natural progression for me to kind of like work towards like advocacy and stuff like that. So, and nice
Thanks,
to meet you all.
Jason. Yeah, both Gil and Jason are awesome team members, and we're very, very lucky to have them. And I'm so excited for them to do the demo and talk so much more with all of you today. But we're going to jump to the next slide. And thinking about this, accessibility is about more than just compliance. It's about people at the end of the day. It's about ensuring that everyone, regardless of ability, can access and engage with your digital content. So as somebody who uses accessibility and assistive technology daily, I can tell you when a website gets accessibility right, it changes everything. And when they don't, it sucks. Like it's a horrible feeling that I don't want to put on anybody. But I use voice dictation, I use an on-screen keyboard, using leveraging shortcuts, a mouth-controlled joystick, and a screen reader. So each of these tools are powerful for me and they bring me independence. But if your website isn't accessible, I get stuck right at the homepage. The drop downs won't work and don't open. Search bars that don't focus. I can't put credit card fields because I can't fill it out with my voice. And I always compare kind of web accessibility to someone's home in the physical world. If the bones of a home or a website aren't solid, doesn't matter how beautiful the design is, it won't be functional for people like me. The goal of web accessibility isn't just about compliance, it's truly about reliability, usability, and better customer experiences. Next slide. So when compliance pressures are real, I know you guys feel it every day, your company feels it. And WCAG is the global standard, and more countries, agencies, and courts are now enforcing it. As a trial attorney myself, I'm acutely aware that lawsuits are on the rise. Litigation gets messy, time consuming, and costly. Yet for developers, these guidelines kind of feel like more technical, disconnected, and overwhelming. And that's why here at Access, we built out solutions that make it easier to meet these standards without needing an expert. So doing it right from the beginning saves time for your teams, that rework, that risk, and reputation. So now let's take a look at accessibility trends to get stuck with. So next slide. So the developer's dilemma. I know this slide probably looks very familiar to all of you. You've got deadlines, sprinkles, kind of legacy code, unclear requirements, and limited accessibility training. But with accessibility getting delayed, it's not because you don't care. It's because you just either don't know where to start or it doesn't feel doable at that time. So we get it, and that's why we built accessFlow with this reality in mind. I'm going to go throw it over to Gil and Jason now to talk more through this.
Yeah, so there is one thing that as a product manager and a former developer um, keeps my mind busy regarding accessibility tasks. And it's like the first bullet here, it's hard to prioritize. So prioritization of accessibility tasks within the company is hard sometimes because like any other company, right, we're an accessibility company, so it's a bit different, but still we have our core products and features and deadlines that we need to do. And to have our accessibility issues tracked in an external platform like accessFlow makes it hard to combine it during the regular and traditional workflows. This is one of the reasons we build a feature that connects accessFlow to ticketing systems like Jira, ClickUp, and Asana. So we can export issues, and yeah, in accessiBe and the accessFlow team specifically, we use accessFlow to make sure that our platform is also accessible. So using this integration, for example, helps us to connect the accessibility task right into the working sprints of the developers. That way, everything is being tracked and progress is being noticed, and developers are not surprised to get issues that they didn't plan to during the sprints. So that's one thing that really, really helps us.
And I truly don't believe kind of any business wakes up saying, you know what, I want to exclude disabled customers. It's just too few businesses kind of give you, as developers, the time and tools you need to make accessibility efficient. So, now that you know that there's options and what to do next, now you have the ability to bring accessibility to your digital products and to your customers. So this is an incredible opportunity. And let's jump to the next slide. And one of the things I love most about accessibility is we've truly created kind of a one-stop shop for web accessibility tools and solutions. And you're not alone on this journey. So kind of with this automated AI, manual remediation, and expert guidance, we can help you manage accessibility from start to finish. And again, you don't have to do it alone. Whether you're kind of building something new or fixing existing issues, we'll meet you where you're at and kind of tailor the right solution for your needs. So with that, again, I want to hand it over to Gil, who will show you how kind of accessFlow can help solve many of these challenges.
Thanks, Josh. So what is accessFlow? accessFlow is basically your accessibility co-pilot. It handles the heavy lifting, automatically detecting accessibility issues, organizing them into actionable tasks, and guiding developers on how to fix them. There's no setup required for accessFlow and no need to use outside experts. It's just a faster and easier way for teams, for development teams, to make their sites accessible and keep them accessible. And of course, like I mentioned before, it integrates seamlessly into teams' existing workflows and tools like GitHub, Jira, and others. Next slide, please. So, how does it work? At a high level, our AI-powered engine automatically scans your site, your SaaS platform, your web application, crawling pages, elements, and user flows to flag accessibility issues. Then it turns those findings into prioritized tasks with clear code examples and explanations and real-time tracking, so fixes fit naturally into development teams' workflows. And of course, maintaining everything. Continuous monitoring alerts, continuous monitoring alerts you about new issues, issues that have been resolved, and keeping accessibility right in your own processes day to day. It's better always to show in real time, so let's jump into a live demo so you can see how it all comes together. I'll share my screen. Great. This is the accessFlow dashboard, the central hub for understanding your accessibility posture at a glance. It shows you your latest scan results, compares them with the previous one, and tracks your progress over time. You can view your accessibility score, number of issues and pages that found over time, and the issue's severity trend over time to see how you progress, hoping to decrease your issues over time. We also highlight the potential impact of fixing issues. So for example, if we'll choose to fix all the extreme severity issue we prioritize and define as severe, you'll be able to increase your score from 78 to 94. Moving to our Explore page. The Explore page is the place where you can view all the issues around your website in multiple ways. You can view it as a general list showing you all the issues across all the pages, user flows. You can view issues grouped by rules if you choose to tackle accessibility issues rule by rule, or by web pages if you want to tackle your main pages, the pages that get the most traffic. You can also do that. Now, developers can see on each issue the high-level details in order to choose what to work on. And once they click an issue, they will see our remediation panel. The remediation panel shows the developer what's the issue, how to generally fix this issue, and it even gives the developer the code from the actual site, and we also show him how the code should look to become accessible. Easy just to copy and paste straight to the development platforms that your developers are working. We also showing the element is what it was found, and of course, what page is what it was found. Another great and very important feature is our Journeys feature, which we're very proud of it. The Journeys feature enables users to record and audit critical user journeys using our Chrome extension. Journeys such as form submission, checkout process, booking a room in a hotel, all those user journeys that are hitting the website KPIs. The user journey issues that we'll find will be separated from the general list I showed you before, so developers can focus on a specific journey and remediate it. let's see how it works. So first of all, I can choose where to start from. In my demo website, I'm gonna start on the first page, on the home page, but I can really, if it's the cart page for an e-commerce website, you can do it from there. Let's see how it works. Now, before the recording starts, the recorder goes to the site, creates a fresh user session, performs any pre-audit step needed, like bypassing a login wall. If you're a platform, you probably have a login wall. Or if you have any blocking pop-ups that are not related to that. In my demo site, the most critical journey is booking an appointment. So you can see the recorder loaded from the Chrome extension down here. And once you click book an appointment, you can start mimicking the user journey. We input the details, for example. You can even pick a date. And then I click the book button. All those steps were recorded. And each element and interaction I made on the site is recorded. Once I click end recording, it goes back to accessFlow for me to review and validate all the steps before starting to audit that journey. And this journey, of course, will be audited on any scheduled scan. As a part of the regular site scan, this will be on top of that also. Now, of course, I prepared a journey, an audited journey to save time. And you can see that this journey holds only the issues that happened during the clicks I made. So everything is scoped under this section, and it allows you to make sure that your most critical user journeys are remediated and accessible for everyone. Another very interesting feature is our auto-resolve feature. This feature has been developed to help you progress faster with your accessibility journey, because we know websites can have thousands of accessibility issues, making full remediation very time-consuming, and sometimes it could be a very long journey. That's why we built this feature. By adding a simple script to your site, you can instantly apply user session automatic fixes and focus your team on issues that requires manual intervention. So I can view all the issues that I can automatically resolve. It goes to the explore page and it filters all the issues to the ones that I can auto-resolve. So let's look at this issue, for example. This issue tells me that inline SVGs should be hidden from assistive technologies. And as you've seen before, this is the source code, and this is the fix that the developer should apply. Let's see the issue live on my site. This is the actual element that we identified in accessFlow. And as you can see, there is no role presentation attribute as accessFlow suggested to add. And once I'll click apply auto resolve, and I can see that the fix has been applied successfully, I can go into the website. Within a few seconds, the fix should be served to the website. I refresh the page, and you can see it's the same element. The role presentation attribute has been added, and the issue is now resolved. It won't appear on any of the other scans, and it will remain auto-resolved until you choose differently. So in the future, when you finish all the things that requires manual intervention, you're probably going to start removing those fixes because you're going to fix them natively, and you can just simply remove them with a click of a button. That way, we also ensure that you have control about the fixes. You decide what to apply, when to apply, and when to remove. Um, to make things even smoother, we even created tools for developers, IDE, AI agent, that let developers apply fixes automatically where they actually write the code within their own environment and workflows. And Jason will now demonstrate how it works.
Thanks, Gil. Hey, everyone again. So I'm going to share my screen now. Second. Okay. So as Gil showed, this is the explore page. Okay. So here you get the view of all the issues on your website. So in regards to the developer's dilemma, pretty much fixes are sometimes hard to actually like perform on your website, especially like you have a lot of issues to actually comb through. So we've created a tool that allows you to expedite these fixes, but also like right through your IDE. So for example, right here is the issue, the list of issues. I've actually already went ahead and filtered them by issues that occur multiple times on your website, and also issues with extreme severity. Okay, so what our MCP does is that it allows you to actually gather these issues within your IDE, and you could actually now remediate and resolve the issues directly to your code base. So, for example, I'm going to ask the MCP to get the most urgent issues. So right now the MCP is thinking, and it's running the get most urgent issues. So it's choosing the top highest severity accessibility issues on your website. So and they all have ranking. So for example, you see that the button rolls issue here occurs 264 times. So it's the same issue that's actually here when we filtered and sorted this way. So for example, it's talking about a avatar icon. Okay. So what we could do with the MCP here is actually now get the issue and ask the agent to fix fetch to actually fetch this specific issue, right? So I'm going to actually fetch the specific issue, and I'm going to ask it, and I'm going to ask the agent to actually like apply the fix to the website. So now it's going to give me all the details. It gives me the occurrences, the actual suggested fix, and it also asks, should I apply this fix to your code base? So of course, let's apply. So as it's thinking, it's looking for the component. This is a React built website, and it's looking for the component like in the application. Okay, so it says that it has the cursor pointer but lacks the proper semantics. So it actually now adds the appropriate button roll. So as we look and peek at the code, we see that it added it to our component here. So this is actually a way that we could actually leverage accessibility directly in our IDE. We can make this actually a more seamless process for developers to actually work with accessibility, but also in a way that's built into your workflow already, you know? So this is the goal of this tool. Okay. So of course, keep the fix and then you push the changes. So that's a brief demo of the MCP feature. Okay.
Thanks, Jason. That was great, and you know, I find myself again as a former developer seeing this really like excite me, because developers, they always look how to to work less, to work fast, to be the most efficient that they can be. And when they don't really know accessibility, handing all the accessibility knowledge accessiBe and accessFlow have to their own development platforms, it's like giving the platforms accessibility superpower, and it's amazing to see it in action.
All about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Next slide. All right, so now we're into the questions and answer stage. So if anybody has questions, again, throw them into the chat or the Q&A Zoom button at the bottom. But I'm going to throw one over to Jason first. How quickly can teams get value from accessFlow?
So the value of accessFlow is immediate. So when a team adds their actual domain into the application, we actually first run a scan of the entire website, depending on how many pages you selected, and you pretty much get a clear image of your you get a clear image of your current accessibility status. So you know your score, you know what are your most extreme issues on the website, and you know exactly what to fix and how to fix it immediately. So it's just like something that you could actually take action on, to actually start working on your accessibility project.
About that. And Gil, how does accessFlow fit better into a developer's workflow compared to other tools?
Yeah, so like I said, we know most developers aren't accessibility experts, and it's okay. No one expects them to be such. So accessFlow is built kind of to bridge the knowledge gap and empower the developers to take ownership on the accessibility of their code. And they also need to stay in full control of that code. They don't like to do things that they don't really control of. So accessFlow fits seamlessly into their existing workflows through the integrations and tools they already use, like Jira for task management, or we have the accessFlow SDK that can run accessibility tests along your existing unit testing that you already have. It can fit in your CI/CD pipelines, and combined with the MCP integration for the developer's IDE, it becomes a natural part of the development lifecycle, helping them identify, prioritize, and resolve issues as early as they can without leaving their own environment and tools.
Thank you, Gil. We got a good question from Gabrielle. So, Jason or Gil, if you want to answer it, but what is the MCP, or is the MCP just for who's paying?
Maybe I'll just give a short brief about the MCP idea. So the MCP is something that only came up, I would say, in the recent year following AI agents rising. And MCP basically connects database and a lot of data into AI agent. So in what we've seen today with JSON demo, the MCP is working in the developers platforms like development platforms like VS Code or Cursor. That's the place where they actually write the code of the site or application. So the MCP connects specifically to those environments.
Thank you, Gil. And we got a question from Keith. What Jason shared. So does this integrate into Drupal, and can this tool also work from front end page creators when they are creating the pages?
Good question, Keith. So you could actually, as long as you could actually move your Drupal code to an IDE, then you could actually use this tool for front end development also.
Perfect. We got one other question. Were you going to say something, Gil?
Sorry, yeah, I just wanted to say that in general, accessFlow works with Drupal CMS. It scans it and And the only thing that you need is to have access to the code, like Jason mentioned, but no problems with Drupal or anything like that.
Another question in the chat was, can the auto resolve script be installed through Google Tag Manager, or would you recommend adding it directly into the code
Yeah,
base?
yeah, it can be through Google Tag Manager. And I would actually recommend, if you're already installing other script using the Google Tag Manager, you should also add the script the same way. So it's even recommended to add it through Google Tag Manager.
Great question. And for Jason, how is MCP different from regular Copilot suggestions?
Yeah, so pretty much the MCP is different because it has the accessibility context behind it. So like Copilot just kind of just uses general knowledge, but doesn't actually have any real accessibility context. So our MCP actually gives you pretty much our accessibility suite and our actual testing and our I guess our engine and also our relationship with the community, and kind of actually adds that to the pretty much like it adds that as context to resolve your issues, you know. So it actually has a lot stronger of a background.
Thank you, Jason. Now we got a question from Adam. Can this tool be used on local environments, or is it only for sites on the web?
It can be used on local environments using our SDK. And that's, I think, one of the steps of releasing new code. It starts with the local environment. So yeah, the SDK works on the local environment, and all the reports of running an SDK, it come through the console which you run in JSON or HTML, and it's also presented in accessFlow UI. And later on, of course, no problem with staging environment, and of course, the public web.
Okay. And we got Gabrielle wanted to know, uh, is there a trial for accessFlow or the MCP?
There is a trial for accessFlow, and the MCP is not suggested to trial, but if you contact us and you'll mention you were on this demo today, I'll make sure to open the MCP feature for you to trial.
Awesome. And right back at you, Gil, one more time. How do the SDK and accessFlow UI work together?
Yeah, that's a great question, because there are different types of developers. There are the ones that like to work in the console, they only see the code, and there are others who like to work in a UI and have everything very convenient to them. And so we do both. So developers can run the audits locally, for example, or in their CI/CD process, and they will get a result with a JSON or an HTML, giving them all the issues and all the informations they need. But all this information is also being uploaded to the accessFlow platform in a dedicated section for centralized tracking. So in the UI, you'll see an audit list, an audit table for each SDK run, for each test run. And each audit opens the full issue table, like I showed you before, with all the details, just like the regular scans. And everything is presented there, and you have some more options because it's UI based. You can dismiss issues, you can comment on them if you want. But basically, we really support the developer tool itself, and also everything appears in the accessFlow for history and tracking.
Gil and Jason, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for doing. Oh, we got one more. One more on the way. Give me, that's coming through. Give me one sec. All right. So, can accessFlow provide a VPAT or ACR?
accessiBe can provide it. accessFlow is one of accessiBe products for the VPAT. For the other one, I'm not sure. I'll need to check.
Okay. Well, I think that was the last question. So again, Gil, Jason, you are awesome. You're awesome. When I said it 30 seconds ago, and awesome when I said it now. You guys are great. And thank you so much for presenting today. And before we have a wrap, I want to leave all of our attendees with this thought. Accessibility is not about perfection, it's about progress. With accessFlow, you don't need to be an expert, and you don't need to start from scratch. You just need the right tools and the right team to support you every step of the way. Here at accessiBe, we got your back. So thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for being a part of a movement toward a more inclusive world for all abilities. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks,
Thank you, Jason.
Josh. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.